everybody, welcome back to another video. If you're new here, my name is Misha and I do videos all about sustainability and vegan lifestyle. So last week I showed you how I meal prep, and today I'm going to show you how I meal plan. So once again, this is kind of a theme of food storage and reducing food waste. So if you didn't know, over 81 billion pounds of food per year go into our landfills in the US, and 20% of all landfills is actually food. So I'm just trying to do what I can to show you how to reduce that number and make sure that you're making the most out of all the food that you do get. So let's get into it. Alright, so first thing, I'm going to clean out my fridge and my freezer so that I know what I have in order to properly meal plan. Current refrigerator situation. Let's get that taken care of. Okay, so I'm just gonna do 2 shelves at a time so I have enough counter space, but this is what I'm looking at right now. So I'm just gonna go through. And I saw I have like a little bit of mold right here, and see what I can salvage and clean off the shelves and then go from there. He's just sitting in there like, what? We went camping and I put them in little containers so I wouldn't have to do the big ones. So I'm just gonna put those back in. Cut up carrots for no excuse munching. And here is a handful of things that I had to throw out, unfortunately. So much more aesthetically pleasing here. So up here I'm trying to keep anything that kind of needs to go or needs to be eaten up, and beverages. And then here is condiments or dips, hummuses. In the bag you'll see some bouillon, stuff that we don't use very often. And then here I have like leftovers and bread from the night before. And then down here is leftover or excess fruits or what have you, got tofu, extra milks and kombucha. And then here I put a towel down because that'll soak up the moisture, and I heard that that helps with food storage last longer. So I just have all my fruits and vegetables in here and all my vegan dairy down here. Current freezer situation. Let's knock that out too. Hella tomatoes. Got all my fruits and my sweets and smoothie stuffs in here. Got ice cream in the back. And here is where I usually like to keep my meats and stuff. So this is, I don't have a ton of meats, but this is like excess sauce stuff, hash browns down here. Down here is where I keep all my vegetables, and then here is kind of like vegetable overflow / miscellaneous. So a little bit more organized now. Okay, so now that I have that done, I'm going to take my cheapy dollar store dry erase board. You can just do this on paper as well. But I'm gonna go ahead and write down everything that's in my pantries, and then everything that's in my fridge or freezer that I can use up. And then on the left-hand side here is where I'm going to come up with the meals based on what I have over here. So I'm gonna go ahead and get to my pantry and write all this down. So I'm starting with my downstairs pantry first. I apologize for the camera view. This is what happens when you pay your roommate, aka husband, in meals in order to film you, and he forgets how to. Anyways, now you see me in my upstairs cupboards where we use things most commonly, and then I also have a third cupboard that holds all of our excess. Now I have all of my main pantry staples that I would be able to use to make meals. So now I'm gonna go ahead and put my fresh produce as well as my refrigerated and freezer meals or items down here. Now you saw me clear my fridge and freezer out earlier. I don't do that very often, but I'd like to do it at least every month, just so, as you can see, I had to throw out a few things. But if you're clearing it out more often, then you're able to make sure that those things don't go to waste. Okay, so now that I have all of my fresh produce or refrigerated freezer goods on here, as well as all of my pantry staples, I'm gonna go ahead and write down the meals that I already know that I can make from these. And then after I do that, I'm actually gonna go to allrecipes.com. It's a great resource that you can use. You can just plug in a couple different ingredients that you have and it'll pop up with different recipes that you can make from them. Then if you have any other couple items that you still need, that's what I'll put on my grocery list afterwards. Okay, now as you can see, I'm starting to write down things that I know I can make from the ingredients that I already have. One thing that you might want to do if this is a new method to you is to cross off something like, for instance, if you know you only have a certain amount of carrots and you're using that for one recipe, then you can just cross off that item so that you don't accidentally write another recipe that also includes that as the ingredient without writing it on your shopping list. I kind of got out of the habit of crossing things out just because this is how I do it all the time, so I kind of know what I have and what I can use for certain recipes, but I would definitely suggest that if that's something new. Okay, so we have a pretty good start here, but I'm still going to go to the allrecipes.com and show you what else I can make from this. So it's actually kind of funny, when I looked up different recipes on allrecipes.com, I used it a little bit more as inspiration than I did actual recipes, but obviously you can use it however you want. When I looked up this butternut squash, I remembered that I have a really good sweet potato soup recipe, and I'm just going to swap out the butternut squash for the sweet potatoes that are in the recipe and use it that way. So I wrote that down on my list. I have spring rolls, so I looked that up. But spring rolls are something that you can put just about anything in and cook up. So I found a vegan spring roll recipe, but I might just play off of it a little bit and make it my own. I have had this phyllo dough in my freezer for probably longer than a year, so I really wanted to find a way to use that up. I found this recipe for the spinach and goat cheese. Now obviously I'm not going to use goat cheese, but it looked pretty good and looked pretty simple, so it's something that I can again kind of play off of. I have spinach, I have some different vegan cheeses, I have different types of ingredients that I can use in it to make a nice little appetizer or dinner, what have you. And then I looked up my lentils because I do have a ton of those, but once again I remembered I have a lentil curry recipe that's really good that I have all the ingredients for, so I decided to write that down and go with that. Okay, so here is my final list of meals that I have come up with. Now I can probably do a few more, and I can definitely do some more when I go to the grocery store, but I have close to 15 or so meals right here, so that'll be a great start for the month of September. Okay, so I was pretty surprised with how many meals that I could come up with everything that I already had in my house. So I was really happy about that. So the inspiration for this video is actually like a theme called Shelftember. So you may have seen my Frugal February haul that I'll link up above, but Shelftember is essentially going through your pantries, using up your shelf-stable items so that in the month of September, your grocery bill will be a little bit less. So I haven't had to go grocery shopping yet, and I had very limited items that I actually had to put on my grocery list from the recipes that I looked up. So maybe at the end of the month, I will go ahead and take you grocery shopping with me and show you exactly how much I was able to limit my spending to this month when it came to groceries, because I was able to clear out my pantry. Once again, this is just to show you another way to hopefully reduce your food waste. I hate throwing things out, and you saw that I had to throw a few things out. So I may definitely have to clear out my fridge every month, maybe even sooner than that, just to make sure I know everything that I have in there, so that we don't waste anything out. But I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give it a thumbs up if you like this type of content, and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!